starting a couple minutes late, but this is a Blitz session. So the good news is it will be quick and hopefully fun. And I know that at this time in the afternoon on Friday, everybody's attention span is like a 5-year-old who's been eating cookies all day. So hopefully it won't be too bad. I'm Kate Griffin. I'm usually a librarian 3 at the Mesa Main Library. Right now I'm on temporary assignment running a branch, and I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves as well.
Thanks, Kate. Hi, I'm Melissa McAllister, and I'm a librarian 3 at Mesa Public Library also, and I work out of the main branch library, and I've been there a little over a year and a half now, so I'm excited to be here.
And I'm Tom Naylor. I'm the branch operations supervisor at the main branch library at Mesa Public Library. And I don't get to speak publicly very often, so I feel like a bee that flew into an open light socket, delighted to be here. I've been wanting to use that for a long, long time. So.
Okay, you want to go, Tom?
Yeah. So basically I'm going to give you a little bit of history and background in Mesa Public Library. Like many library systems, the recession hit us pretty hard. We had a significant reduction of our coworkers that were laid off. Opening hours were reduced. The service desk, we had 6 at the main library, was reduced to 3, and our material budget was cut. So on top of all that, we had patrons complaining to us at the front desk of all these things. So we were taking all that on. It was just a really, really low time for us. Because of the cuts, the organizational structure was restructured, and it really had to be. There was clerk positions were eliminated. We added a library assistant position where they could answer some basic reference questions. And librarians were now working circulation duties. So the circulation desk and the reference desk merged, so everyone is basically doing everything. So it was a really, it was a time where it was a state of flux and morale was low and everything was changing pretty rapidly. Even office space was, before the recession, segregated. We had librarians all together, we had clerks all together. They were just their own space and they really didn't interact with each other. Everyone had their own job to do and there was really not much interaction. A little after that took place, my office space was moved down where the librarians used to be, or still were, but now the library assistants were there. My office was there, and it was an interesting time when, sorry, like I said, I don't get to speak very often publicly. It was just really low morale. And I was looking around one day, and I was in the office space, and I had low morale. I was really down. It was like things were just changing really rapidly. My job had changed. And I was looking around and I go, something has to change. And I looked at our workspace and I said, our workspace where our coworkers used to be in this cubicle, my friend used to be in this cubicle, were empty. And they were just collecting junk. That's all they were. People weren't even sitting close to each other. We had so many empty cubicles. That was just really sad. And that's when I thought to myself, I go, you know what, something's got to change, and I think it needs to start with the office space. And then luckily, Kate and Melissa came in the picture, so I'm actually going to turn it over to you.
Sure. Yeah, so Kate and I were both hired in 2008, and I'm sorry, no, 2013. And it was kind of, the city was kind of coming out of, the recession. That year we were able to hire, in 2013 we hired 4 new librarians and we added 2 more in 2014. And so things were starting to change, and working with Tom and Kate, we were still looking at ways to kind of change the space around us, because we didn't want the librarians and the LAs segregated any longer. We wanted them to work more collaboratively, and we wanted people to start having fun again at work. It was kind of a new era because we were able to hire new people, and all of the new librarians that we hired outside of Kate and I were fresh out of library school. They had great ideas and were ready to go, and we really wanted to capitalize on that. So this is what we call the den in our workspace area. Prior to 2013, this was all filled with cubicles. It was just a sea of cubicles. And what we did was we arranged the furniture so that we could hold morning den meetings. And they occur on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for roughly 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the topic. And the staff all come together and they do trainings, they show presentations, they will host TED Talks. We've done things with the library journal, webcasts in there. And we encourage them to come, bring their breakfast, and just, talk about the things that are happening throughout the day. And what we noticed was that when we divided the cubicles at the west and east end of the building and had this open space, that there was a breakdown between, with the segregation of the librarians and the LAs. And that was really refreshing to see. This did not cost us hardly any money. We had all the furniture, around our building, and we had the big stuffy chairs that we brought in and the tables. We did have a cafe, high top table down there too to kind of break up the space, but our snack bar has appropriated that recently. So the only thing that really cost any money, except for Tom's labor to get things moved around, was the TV monitor that we use for our training sessions. Everything else was existing in the building. And since then, I think, there's been a lot more collaboration between the two groups, and we've been very pleasantly surprised by, this is a wide shot of the space. You can see the cubicles under the Mesa Public Library sign on the one side, and then on the other side towards Tom's office at the right side of the screen there. But we've been pleasantly surprised by how the library assistants and the librarians have been working together on programs and marketing things in the library with beautiful displays, and it's fun to come to work, I have to say, and I'm so happy to be there. So I'm going to turn it over to Kate now, who's going to talk about some of the fun things that we've been able to do there.
Yay! Okay, so you can tell we kind of inherited that building. That building was built in 1980 and it was not a library. It was HR for the city. And we're in the basement, and the basement, not seeing sun is kind of horrible. So we really tried to change the physical space, and I think we did a really nice job with what we have, but you also inherit a culture. And like Tom had touched on, we had a very wounded culture because so much change had happened, so many friends and employees had left. We really, really shrunk our workforce. So, for Melissa and I, we were coming in and we were new, and it was like, what's going on here? Why are people, why aren't people happy to come to work? So we really tried to start modeling that behavior, and it's like, what can we do that's more fun? And the nice thing is once we started having more fun, we brought in some people who were new, and actually a few of them are in here, and they were like, hey, I like having fun too, and I have good ideas, and I'm very creative. And we didn't even have to tell them. They just kind of were like, all right, this is our space, this is our department, and we're gonna have a good time. So we tried to kind of foster that and grow that. Here in the middle here we have a papier-mâché shark that one of our LAs made. We celebrate successes, so when somebody makes a really good display, we applaud them. We have food in there, we put in a fridge, there's food in there for people to eat whenever. Whenever somebody's doing something new, that's when in our morning den meetings, we kind of go, hey, we're doing a cake decorating contest this month to, show off our cool cake pans, and it's all going to be on Facebook. So to do that, Sarah Lipich, one of our librarians, brought in cakes and was like, all right, speed cake decorating contest. So here's everybody decorating cakes that morning. One of our really awesome librarians retired, so the Den is a perfect place. This is our city manager, Chris Brady, coming in to present her certificate. So, this is the place where we celebrate. It was kind of like the living room. It's kind of like family meetings, and people can work in there and people have meetings in there, but, this is everybody's space, and we don't have people, complaining about noise anymore. We used to have people going and going, so-and-so is talking really loudly on its phone, and it's really bothering me. But now we have people laughing in this space, for a really long time and having conversations, and of course work is still getting done, but people are making friends and people enjoy themselves again. We also have some really fun, kind of passive programming, because, you talk a lot about programming and displays for your patrons, but, we got to take care of ourselves too. And so one of our really cool librarians, Cherise, set up this Do We Know Our Call Numbers, and we put it on our whiteboard in there, and it was just kind of as people were walking by, they were writing in little snarky things on, the 550 space and dinosaurs, rawr, and all sorts of cool stuff. So, and this is always changing, and like I said, the fun thing is that people picked up on this culture. It's changing. We want people to have fun, and we didn't say, make a cool whiteboard. We just came, we're like, who did this? This is awesome. We love this. We also have a really great virtual community specialist team where they're always looking for fun things for the Facebook. And those of you who run Facebook pages and social media for your institutions know that the thing that people like is you being yourselves, slice of life. This is what it looks like behind the scenes, and it's like, oh wow, a sorter, but everyone else, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a sorter. So we always try to, find cool things, and this is one of the things we did for Festivus. We had feats of strength, so we have our LA Randy and our librarian Cherise lifting boxes. So there's always fun stuff that, we're roping people into when they're in their cubicles. They're not just sitting there working with their headphones on, leave me alone. We're like, hey, we're doing something cool, you want to come out here? And very frequently people do. So that's kind of a nice change. I'm not quite done yet. I have some more pictures that I threw in a little Imgur album to show you how everybody's kind of doing this. This is, we did for social media the Library Olympics last year. And it was we were like, hey, we're doing Library Olympics, here's some ideas, and then we got some great pictures at the top. That's our volunteer coordinators doing pairs shelving. So that was really fun. And then we have our gold, silver, and bronze medal winners at our Dobson Ranch branch for speed check-in. So, the winner got her favorite treat, which was Cheez-Its. So obviously, if you feed them, they'll come to programs, but if you feed them in your workspace, they will like that, which we did too with birthdays. The first thing we did, Melissa and I, when we started, we're like, okay, where's the birthday list? And it's like, well, we used to celebrate birthdays, but people started complaining. So we stopped doing birthdays. And if you want to do birthdays, you have to bring in your own treats. And I was like, that's not cool. You want your boss to know your birthday. You want your coworkers. Some people don't, and we respect that. But so we started bringing in cakes for everybody and making it a celebration. Some people don't want to, and that's fine. But that's been kind of a fun thing too. Down here, our volunteer, this was something that wasn't our department, but our volunteer coordinators thought that it would be more fun if meetings had costumes, so they brought props. So that's some people dressed up there. We did feeding people, started doing potlucks. What you might not know about Tom is that he goes to, what city, Nashville or? Memphis in May to do the what?
Barbecue competition.
The barbecue competition, and was it your rib-based sauces or?
Ribs. World champion in ribs.
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah. So it's kind of like back to the Den, don't stifle your in-house talent. We're like, okay, Tom, you're gonna make some pork butt for us. And he does at the end of summer reading, and we have a great big potluck in the break room, and then, oh my God, it's so good, and I go home and I just pass out at the end of the day. Another one of our librarians, Marin Hunt, for Liberty Card Sign-Up Month, was going to do this really cool craft with kids. So in the Den, she was like, hey guys, we're going to decorate our library cards at my program, so you guys are going to do it. And it was kind of passive programming. She left it out, and people kept coming. Even our security guard got in on it and decorated his card. And this one with the bird is Melissa's. So, food and, fun and just, hearing laughter. And that was a big thing because, I came from a really big district where everybody was friends. It was very family oriented. And then I came to the main library and it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is very different here and how can we make this more fun? And I do think in a year and a half it's gotten to be pretty fun. But, it wasn't, not everybody was on board. And we did get kind of surprised in a meeting one day when somebody put on the agenda and we didn't even notice. They're like, we want to stop doing these den meetings. We don't like them. They're a waste of time. You know, I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of them. And it was kind of like, oh, really? You don't like talking to your coworkers? You don't like learning from their expertise? Everybody has something to share. So we talked about it in the meeting and we thought about it and we're like, oh man, you know, there's some people who don't like this. But we realized in the end there were a lot of people who were getting a lot out of it. And it was very noticeable, at least to us, and I think to the other staff, that the culture was changing. And so even though there was someone who was complaining and there were some people who didn't like it, we said, you know, this is how it is here. This is how it's the job. We like each other. We like learning from each other. You all have very valuable things to share. It's 15 minutes a day, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We think you can do it. So the takeaway is don't cave to the sole complainer. And I think in the past, maybe that was something that our culture had done. It's like, oh, well, this person complained about it. We got to make a sign. This person complained about it. We need to stop this. And it's like, no, you know what? We're going to think about what's good and what's fair to everybody. Because we can't just, you know, make accommodations for somebody who doesn't like something all the time. So don't cave to the sole complainer. Keep being awesome, make it happen, and keep smiling and having fun at work. And I guess that's what we're talking about.
And with our den, just one quick thing, we have Marin here who's recording it, so we're going to actually watch this in our den. So it's sort of going to be tricky. We're talking about the den, watching our presentation. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.